What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another Jets video for today. I am excited to talk about something, which is good news for the New York Jets, with a free agent target in Calvin Ridley, who is expected to hit the market. It's no secret the New York Jets need, a lot of help at the wide receiver position. They have Garrett Wilson, and that's about it. Allen Lazard, big drop off from last year, not great. Jason Brownlee, Xavier Gipson, guys you're excited about, but not guys you really want as a number 2 or number 3 on an all-in year. They need to probably sign and draft a wide receiver. And while, sure, there are bigger names out there than Calvin Ridley, when you're talking about people who are actually available, Ridley might end up being one of the better guys for this position. So the New York Jets could potentially benefit, because if the Jacksonville Jaguars extend Calvin Ridley, which is on the table but doesn't feel like something, at least right now, that is going to happen, they would owe the Atlanta Falcons a second-round pick in this upcoming draft in 2024. Doug Peterson was quoted talking about Calvin Ridley and said, obviously, he's a player that we've all liked on offense, and he's got a ton of talent. You hope that things potentially work out, but you never know how things go. It's a crazy business. New Stadium also says people we speak to expect Ridley to at least test the market in free agency. I agree with that. I do think Calvin Ridley is someone who tests the market, and you have other names of, again, better wide receivers. For instance, via trade, Devontae Adams, but with Antonio Pierce returning to coach the Vegas Raiders, it appears like that's something that might not end up happening, that he might actually stay there in Vegas, so maybe he doesn't end up with the New York Jets. But then you got guys like Michael Pittman, who I would love Michael Pittman on the Jets. I just think he's going to end up staying with the Colts. Mike Evans, I think, is going to stay in Tampa Bay, and if not, supposedly he's reported to get somewhere between $25 and $30 million a year. That's a ton of money, and I don't know if that's something the Jets could really potentially swing. T. Higgins is going to get a bag if he doesn't stay in Cincinnati, which I think is a chance that they just franchise tag him and try to do it that way. But if not, he's probably going to be a hefty price. When you get down to it, though, and get to guys that you could pivot to, I like Calvin Ridley a lot. He had a 1,000-yard season, 8 touchdowns in his return in Jacksonville, had a really nice season with Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there's been a connection to the New York Jets. The Jets players love him. Like, it's not just Sauce Gardner, supposedly, who, came out there and had the tweet where he mentioned Ridley and Higgins. Not both of those guys, one or the other. But and people forget Joe Douglas was very interested in trading for him when he became available from the Atlanta Falcons a couple years ago. We know it didn't end well in Atlanta. He left the 2021 season halfway through for his own personal reasons. And then he was suspended in 2022, but comes back and has a really nice season in 2023. Again, 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. To me, that's a perfect number 2 option for the Jets, right? You have Garrett Wilson, who, I don't know about you, but I think he can be a 1,500-yard receiver with Aaron Rodgers healthy and in a functioning offense. But they need someone else who can complement him. If they go into the season relying on Allen Lazard to be that guy, I don't think that's a great idea. Lazard should probably be the 4th wide receiver on this team with Gipson and Brownlee for depth. And then you have Garrett, you sign someone in free agency like a Calvin Ridley, for example, and then use a mid-round pick on a wide receiver as well. That hopefully could come in and be like a number 3. His stock is rising incredibly because of how good he was at the Senior Bowl, but a perfect example would have been like a Roman Wilson, who was projected to be a 3rd or 4th round player. Now is maybe working his way up into the 2nd round. If he's somehow there for the Jets in round 3, maybe that's the guy. The Rams found Puka Nacua last year late. There's available guys. You just have to pick the right one, but there are players available that you could add to this wide receiver room. And Calvin Ridley being one of those guys, I think makes a lot of sense. Joe Douglas likes him. The players like him. I think he would complement Garrett Wilson well. A duo of Ridley and Wilson, That's a 1-2 punch that I can get behind. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on the potential of adding Calvin Ridley down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like the video before you go. Subscribe, share with a friend. I'll catch you next time.